respected dignitaries, enlightened faculties, distinguished delegates, budding students community, good morning everyone. On the auspicious Friday, the third international conference on wellness education is going to be inaugurated very shortly. On behalf of the organizing team, it is my proud privilege to stand before you to compare the event. Now I call upon the most respected dignitaries to come on the dais.
Legal advisor and mentor to several countries of America. She is the founder, CEO. Wait a moment. Make this a point to make their portrait somewhere as the going on. I'll read it out.
Well, very good afternoon, friends. Ms. Anup Peshawaria, our Dean Dr. Mumtaz, all our colleagues sitting here, my dear students and other staff members. I deem it a great honor to be here for this wellness conference. When we talk about wellness, you would have heard that it is only related to physical fitness because they invariably talk about education means physical education. It is not that. Wellness would include physical wellness. But major part of wellness is that we should have a strong relationship. We should have good understanding of our human relationship. When you have positive thoughts, when you can look after the welfare of your friends, your relatives, your family, your university, your working place, if everywhere there is a good positivity which is given from your side, that leads to wellness. When this kind of a spiritual wellness will be there, physical wellness will automatically follow. But what unfortunately we are following is that this is physical wellness first, and later part, the second part, which deals with good relationship, is not important. So wellness is a combination of good relationship amongst humans, amongst family members, and in places where you work. And then physical wellness, which you are all indulging in. You play sports, you run around, you do your physical activity. So this is a conference which is going to gel these two important aspects of life together for your benefit. Now, when this was being organized, I got a ring from Ms. Anup Peshawaria from US that we knew her. She is a very well-known advocate, the first legal advisor to our embassy in United States, and the first lady in US who has taken up the task of helping women who have moved into US from different sides with different kinds of backgrounds. And she has helped those women, not through the help of any other agency, but her own self. She has spent her own money, own time, and you should. I'm sure you will be able to understand when an advocate spends time. I think that's if you translate into money, it's an enormous sum. So she chose to help those people who were in need, and then not only that, she penned a book. She wrote a book on this experience, which is going to be a very wonderful document for everybody. When you read this book, you will find a lot of references which will be very useful, and the agencies which are there in US which are promoting the cause of these people. She has clubbed all those things together in this book, and my task has been made simpler because Dr. Mumtaz has already read who Ms. Anup Peshawaria is. Those who are from legal profession here would know her as a wonderful legal luminary who is into US laws. In fact, she is the first woman who is there in Supreme Court of the United States and in Supreme Court of India. Both the places she has been involved in, and she's been helping the legal matters pertaining to Indians who are there and who are fighting the legal battles here. When she spoke to me that she is going to be here, and she is going to be here only for a day, it so happened that we were having this conference on wellness, and she has authored a book which is Never Again, which you will all find wonderful reading and will be useful to all of you. This is Never Again, an Indian American attorney's campaign against the domestic violence and abuse among South Asian and legal immigration policies. So this is a very important document she's written. I think you'll all find it very useful. And it is again a coincidence that this is happening here when she chose to be here today. Just for a day she is here in Pondicherry. And this book is being released at a time when we are having a conference of well-being, wellness. And I said wellness means it clubs everything pertaining to our good relationship and good physical health. And this never again is a feather in this conference cap because this is taking place today. Not only that, as I said, she has many firsts to her credit. First woman legal advisor to India's embassy in US. First women tennis player who has represented India in Wimbledon. Many women have played tennis earlier, but to represent Wimbledon, I think, is the greatest credit to an individual, and she is the first woman who represented India in Wimbledon tournament, and to reach Wimbledon is no mean achievement, let me tell you. Not only that, she... Okay. So when she said she would like to come and give a talk here, I thought there can be nothing better than this. I readily agreed to this, and we were organizing this conference. I said it will be a wonderful idea if you can give a keynote address here, and here she is. I have a great pleasure in presenting to all of you Ms. Anu Peshawaria, who is a legal luminary in her own right in US and a great sports personality. And it's a coincidence that she's come over here when our education department and physical education department put together is organizing a conference of this kind. Welcome, Ms. Anu Peshawaria. We are deeply honored with your presence here, and I hope you'll find this interaction of yours with the audience a very pleasant experience. Thank you so very much for coming over, and all yours. You will be wondering what topic she is going to speak on. Let me tell you, a good orator will never tell you what topic one is going to talk about. She would decide, a good orator will decide by looking at the audience and then go on to speak. So I'm sure you are in for a wonderful treat from Ms. Anu Peshawaria, who will be sharing her experiences in these areas. Thank you so very much. We are honored.
Good morning, all of you.
Good morning, ma'am.
Good morning. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. How many of you speak English? All of you? I thought I'll have to speak in Tamil. Okay. So, I'm here all the way from San Francisco to share with you why I wrote this book, Never Again. And what we are talking about today, I'm so privileged to be here today. I'm honored and delighted to be invited by Pondicherry University and to be among such accomplished people such as Professor Gurmeet Singh, Professor Mrs. Mumtaz, and Madam Kiran Bedi. I'm so privileged. I live in San Francisco, far from this beautiful Pondicherry, but my heart belongs here. Since the seminar is on wellness, and I believe healthy emotional relationships play a very major role in our well-being. We all understand the importance of healthy relationship between parents, children, in this context, spouses. In this context, let me share my individual story about how I'm helping families, especially women in domestic violence, to overcome their fear and be able to lead a normal life. So I was the fourth daughter born in a traditional Indian family in Punjab, where girls were considered a huge liability. So my grandfather told my parents that they should start collecting huge dowries to marry off their daughters. And there's no need to send us to expensive schools, as we must save money for the marriage. I'm so grateful that I had a father who had great vision, because even after the birth of his fourth daughter, he celebrated my birth. He educated us in the top schools in India and, in fact, gave us not just education, but invested time and energy to develop our athletic skills and connected us to the humanitarian causes. This is an award which I got at the age of 7, and my father and my mother, to whom I owe a lot, and my sister, who's more than a mother to me. My father never caged us. Do you know what caging is? What happens in India? Girls are just put, don't wear these clothes, don't go out, don't meet other people. This happens with young girls. So my father never caged us. Instead, he gave us the freedom to learn and grow. I started traveling around the world as a tennis player when I was just 9 years of age. And at the age of 13, I became India #1 and I played Wimbledon for India. So that was a great honor, and I soon switched to fighting lawsuits. The lawsuits of this nature of never again. Why these lawsuits? I went on to law school from Delhi University to Santa Clara University, California, and to Stanford in the United States. After that, I took on battles against literally serving police commissioners, senior ministers, even serving prime minister. I was also fearless and stood up for what I thought was right. In the cases that I represented, there was a case where I remember I'd gone for Uttarakhand, where there were thousands of women who were raped, and nobody was bringing their case to light. And it was very hard to fight that case because anybody who would fought that case would have to come and suffer the wrath, because there was a minister who told me, "Aapko chain chota kar denge." You know what is 6 inches? They'll cut off your head. So when you're dealing with such people in India, what do you realize? You realize you have to be even more tough to deal with them. 10 years later, I started practicing US immigration law and was struck by huge instances of human rights abuse. Who would think that a place where everyone dreams of living would be infected with such problems? There's 40.8% South Asian women in US suffer from domestic violence, and 90% of them are immigrant women. Because I see a large number of women sitting here, so I want to tell you that 90% of immigrant women who come to United States and to foreign countries are suffering from domestic violence. There is a direct correlation between immigrant women and those people who suffer on this account, and they are exploited for obvious reasons. What are the obvious reasons? The men trick the women. They have no idea what's happening. I'll give you an example. So if a woman is going overseas, she's getting married to a US person, he'll take her there. She will not know who's going to file her papers. She'll not go to meet a lawyer because she will trust her husband. She'll say, "He'll file the papers for me." I'll give you an example of a girl's case I handled. She trusted her husband, went there. He didn't file her papers. She had, by then, 3 children, and she became illegal. And then he told her, "Just sit in the plane and take your children for a holiday." He kept the son with her. He let her go with the girls. So how important is sons for these people? Then he kept the girls, and when she went back to India, she couldn't come back again. And he said, "I've divorced you." So in America, you can get a one-sided divorce without even other people realizing it. They don't even get documents. That's the reason I wrote this book, because this has a compilation of all laws international which so far exist. And this is my plea to the United Nations and to the government of India, that they need to sit down and talk about these laws, because these women fall through these cracks. They get a divorce without even knowing that they've got a divorce. You can go in Las Vegas, you can go to Reno, you can have a walk-through divorce in 2 days. Here in India, we think you cannot get a divorce because we are giving you huge amounts of dowry. You will go to the court under Section 13 of the Hindu Marriage Act. You will try to show there is cruelty, or you will try to show that the man is living with another woman. Only then you will get a divorce. That will also take 15 years. So the parents are satisfied. They think they're giving away their daughter. At least she'll be settled. So after she has a little child, she's kicked out of the house. So that's what happens in America too. These are really heartbreaking stories. Some young went from US to India, got married to innocent girls, and left them pregnant in India. This is another thing that I saw here, that they came here for honeymoon marriages. They married the girls because they found them very pretty and attractive. And then they said, "We'll go back and file the papers." Nobody filed those papers. Those girls had children here. And I handled cases of those girls who have children here, who've never gone to America, who've never seen their fathers. So in order to educate the community, I went and did several workshops all over the United States and then came to India and held educational seminars in places such as Amritsar, Chandigarh, Delhi, Bangalore, and today I've come to Pondicherry. But sometimes it may seem that the situation of women they can just leave. That's what they say in America. It's a 50-50 law. So what? A woman should leave. But tell me, in such a situation, can a woman leave? Because the child is a US citizen. They won't let the child accompany you. So your child is also gone, you're also gone. You can't even leave. They are unable to trace their husbands. Another thing is when they marry, the women cannot trace their husbands. So they keep coming to me and saying, can you find this man? They start giving me their number or their social security number. It's difficult to trace them or even serve them any papers. So with completely different marital laws from India and United States, it's difficult to fight for their rights. So I give expert opinions in America to the judges. And the judges, I'm an expert. And they call upon me for judgments. They call upon me for how to do these cases. So they ask me, how should I give a decision in such a case? Never Again is a book, and it started with my first book called The Immigrant's Dream. So I talked about these dreams getting shattered. You go to America, your dream is shattered. This is called An Immigrant's Dream. That was my first book, where thousands of cases that I did were there. And the second book I did was Lives on the Brink. Lives on the Brink also was reaching out to people and telling them that these stories, what to do. And this particular book, Never Again, is all about policies and what should be done by both the countries. With the circumstances surrounding many immigrants in domestic violence, women find it extremely difficult to stand up and say, Me Too. So my thing is how Me Too movement has become about sexual violence, how women can talk about it openly. We need another movement called Never Again. Never again to domestic violence is what we need to say. I say this 35 years ago when I started fighting cases for justice, I used to fight for families who were victims of crime but badly needed representation. Mostly big lawyers used to fight cases of people who had a lot of money. I used to be on the defense side where probably I would not receive money or I would have to pay out of my pocket. But I love doing it and I'm very passionate about it. So let me tell you, the troubles of today are old, and however, there is an urgent necessity for fresh solutions. With the current global climate towards legal migration, we are always migrating from one state to another, from one country to another. That's why I chose to become an immigration lawyer. I do cases on the basis of business. I do cases on the basis of your extraordinary ability. So I can migrate literally anybody to United States. But before you go, please study the laws of America. Don't go without studying. I can understand the stress and struggles of people who wish to migrate, how they give up their families, how they live in distant places in the world and send money to their families. Some students who study there, they do 2 jobs to make a living, and then they fall prey to fraudulent immigration consultants. I've heard of cases where people have given $50,000 to do a fake marriage, and 50 of such families are behind bars in America right now. I'm fighting such cases because they think marriage is the only solution to go. Whereas there are 101 legal ways of going to America where you would not have this trouble. Remember, what I'm telling you does not mean America is bad, does not mean any place in the world is bad, because immigration is in our blood. We are going to immigrate from one state to another, one place to another. But if we know the laws, we will not suffer. So it gives me great hope. Let's first of all make the process of resettlement safe, equitable, and full of positive possibilities for the individuals new to a country. It's in everyone's best interest and potential to help communities grow and adapt to changes and bring about growth. And it also gives me great hope that all of you together, students, teachers, illuminatories, are here to help pave a path for educating students and families and empowering people striving for a compassionate future for all, which, no matter which part of the world they live in. I'm always open to any questions anybody may have, whether it's about US immigration, whether it's about human rights, whether it's about domestic violence. What happens to these children who are born over there and half of their families in India and half is in there in the US? Supreme Court of India passes a law which is totally opposite of what Supreme Court passes there. Who decides in these cases? That's why I said lives on the brink. That's why I said never again. We need the people in India and United States to get up and say never again to domestic violence. So if you have any questions, I'm always here. My contact information will always be available to you because Pondicherry is second home to me. So hopefully I'll keep coming back, and I'm always available for any questions. Thank you so much.
Very well done. Now, I just want to have our tune sung here. So far, we have listened to Anu Peshawaria madam. She's very open to all of us. Just get along with me. That's what is her cry. Never again. Some bad things, some violence should happen to womanhood as well as to anybody for that matter in the universe. So we'll all join hands together when anything is required. Okay. Now, as I said in my welcome address, we will give a standing ovation to these two scintillating sisters. Will you all please the gathering as a mark of welcome to our LG madam. She's the chief rector, and Anu Peshawaria madam. And both of them have come here on the special invitation given by our Honorable Vice Chancellor. I bow my head on behalf of School of Education to welcome all the three dignitaries over here. Now it's time for us, audience may be please seated. Now we are going to release Her Excellency Dr. Kiran Bedi, the Lieutenant Governor and the Chief Rector of Pondicherry University. The first copy will be released by our Honorable Vice Chancellor, Professor Gurmeet Singh, and the next copy will be received by our beloved Anu Peshawaria Madam.
Good morning, friends, and an honor to meet you. And thank you once again to the Vice Chancellor of our university, Dr. Gurmeet Singh, always wanting for some reason to bring me back. He finds a reason to bring me back. And this was another reason for these two books, the compilation and Anu's book. I'm grateful that Anu found the time for all of you to share her book, linking domestic violence, domestic peace with wellness. Because where there is discord and disharmony at home, there is no wellness. It's illness, not wellness. So I think what the message she was trying to say, that one day each one of us will move on in our lives to find life partners. And therefore, to remain well in that life is an art, is a skill. It's important to know that rest of the life, after student life, as we find our life partners, how do we remain well? And she gave you her version as a lawyer, as an immigration lawyer in the United States, how ill some of our families are, because she looked at it as a lawyer and fought their cases exceedingly well. She's a very well-known immigration lawyer overseas. She came visiting here, but she got invited by our Vice Chancellor to come and present her book. So I want to thank Dr. Gurmeet Singh for giving her this opportunity to do this. For me, I have only three things since you talked about wellness. How do you stay well? I have three ideas for you. You all want to stay well? We all want to stay well? Yes or no? Yes. Okay, good. Then come closer. Get closer so you become a little more harmonious. Come closer so that I have to only look at you and not look left and right. Come closer. That's right. You see, we all want to be well. But how does the wellness begin? Here are my 2-3 ideas. How does wellness begin with me? And I'll share, and research establishes it.
And I'm sure your articles, which Mumtaz's article, which we book released, will be mentioning this. As I asked you, you want to all want to be well? Yes or no? Yes. Okay, then here's the first mantra. Raise your hands. How many of you start your day early? Lovely. You're pretty good. You get up early? Wow. To do prayers and worship? Because you're all very, very spiritual, very religious. You get up early, very good. That's the beginning of wellness. So you're already well then. That's why you're okay. Now, after you get up, how many of you pray or go to a temple and pray? Okay, great. Very nice. How many of you get up to exercise? Now, those who don't exercise, raise your hands. I'm so grateful that you're so honest. Honesty is the first road towards wellness. Now, first mantra is to be well, exercise. That's your first. There's no secret and shortcut to wellness. Why? We'll come to the second thing. Why exercise? Is exercise. Because when you get out of your bed, whether you have a balcony or a place to exercise or not, you have your bed. You all have a bed, right? We all have a bed. Many exercises can be done even on the bed. Have you tried it? Yeah? Want to experiment? Want to experiment? Yes? So, somebody wants to show how they do it on the bed? Anybody volunteer? No? No? Not volunteering? Tight pants? Pants very tight? So exercise is your first element. So we are talking about wellness. So we all want to be well. We all get up. Many of you get up, but most of you do not exercise. So the key to your wellness is exercise. The question is, what exercise? Pondicherry is a beach. Pondicherry is very gifted with nature. Is whether we walk, whether we jog, whether we do yoga, whether any one of those exercises which suits you, whether you have a treadmill in the house, it depends on you. Whether you go to a gym which is close by, it is up to us. Every one of us have our own style. Some are indoor, some are outdoor. To my mind, I think the best exercise is outdoor. Get out of your home, get out of your room, get out and go into the nature. Be with nature is the beginning of a well-earned day. After you've done your morning exercise, nobody can keep you down. After exercise, nobody can say, cry. So you cry, why should I? Because the exercise has already pepped you up. Then, what is the second reason for illness? Illness is in the mind before it comes to the body. Because if the mind does not feel the pain, there is no illness. What happens when you get a painkiller? What happens when you get an injection? The mind is not feeling the pain. That's why you're feeling okay. When you have a bad toothache and the dentist gives you a very nice, what is it called? It's local anesthesia. It gives you a local anesthesia and he pulls out the... Do you feel the pain? No, because local anesthesia, and suddenly you realize you're without a tooth. The local anesthesia did not send the message to the brain that you are in pain. Right? So second thing is, when you have done your exercise, you have cleaned up your mind. You've cleaned up your thought. And you have dry cleaned it. So when you dry clean and then you go for a bath again, exercise, bath here and a bath here. And then you say, thank you God for a wonderful day. You have begun the day with wellness. So I'm only at the foundation at the moment is how do we remain well and what is wellness? Wellness is in our hands. Now, exercise costs you a lot of money? No? Why? Why it doesn't cost you money? Why? It costs you your own time. And it's not a cost, it's an investment into wellness. So, exercise. Second thing, since I talked about the brain, would be thought replacement. Now, during the day, we might get some pain, we might get a disappointment, we might get a failure. The third thing which I would say to remain well is a theory called replacement of thoughts. Replace all the negative thought. You need to be aware, because you've exercised, you've heightened your awareness. Watch your thoughts, observe your thoughts. And when that thought of pain comes, suffering comes, oh, my friend did this, he or she did not phone up, I didn't get my result. Look, replace the thought for a solution rather than the problem. Once you replace your thought with your solutions rather than only the failure, you are always well. So I would think, since it's been a pretty good long session, let me leave these 3 thoughts with you. And even if we practice these 3 thoughts, rest of the things, what Anu said about domestic violence, it will not happen. Women will not be victims of domestic violence immediately if they become aware that they have a life of their own. They will not get married to anybody whom the father or the mother says, now you go, he is so and so in America, very rich. The girl will first ask, what does he do? What kind of a man is he? I don't want to marry his richness. Richness will come. How much richness do I want? I have to live with a man and not his money. Money will come to meet our needs. But what kind of a man is he? No, he's very rich. He's got a very good house. He's got a car. And he's living in New York. He's living in Manhattan. Go. No. Manhattan or no Manhattan. What kind of a man is he? Tell me that. So the wellness will come when the woman is in command of herself. And that will come when she's got thoughts in her control, when she's a master of her own mind and not be a slave of her mind. So replacement of thoughts, starting your day well, exercising, and exercise cannot come without a habit. These are certain habits of wellness, and the habits of wellness begin with your way you start your day and the way you think, the way you replace a negative thought with a positive thought. And the positive thoughts are also a matter of habit, where how you observe your habit. You are slipping into bad habit, or are you going into a good habit? It's all this time constant watch. And one of the watch methodology is yoga, meditation, where you are. But sometimes meditation and yoga is with eyes open also. Have you heard of it? Have you heard of meditation with eyes open? Have you? Yes, it's possible. When you have meditation with eyes open, it means you are aware. You are awake. That's what Swami Vivekananda said, being awake. Awake to what's going on around you and in your own mind. That is wellness. After that, life's challenges will keep coming. You will reap as you sow. You will sow as you reap. You'll reap as you sow. You sow good deeds, you'll reap good results. You sow wrong thoughts, you will get illness. You sow good thoughts, you will reap wellness. So wellness is in your own hands. For this, you don't need money. You need watch. So I would say this, to my mind, is the secret of wellness. I want to thank your Vice Chancellor for giving me this opportunity to connect with you once again, and also to release and be in the presence of Anu and your own document, which is, I think, is a great document to be kept in one's personal library to revisit, because it's a wonderful compilation of articles on the subject. I'm very happy once again to be with you. Thank you very much.